There's no doubt that Christmas is a wonderful time of year. Between the Advent and Christmas seasons, it is hands down my favorite of the year. Sitting in a dark, packed church singing O Come, Emmanuel as we light the Advent wreath. Getting together with family for big dinners and joyful celebrations in ugly sweaters. Renting a house with college friends for New Year's, a tradition that we've kept for 6 years now. For over a month, it's just a feeling of anticipation and excitement, a season of joy, merrymaking, and gift-giving. Easter is great, don't get me wrong, and it's obviously kind of important to our faith. But as a Franciscan who keeps up a nativity display all year long in my room, really just as a child at heart, there is nothing that beats this season. I kid you not when I say I look forward to it all year long. Which is why I find myself a bit apprehensive right now. Christmas is going to be a bit different this year. Unfortunately, like many of you, I won't be going home for Christmas this year. I won't be presiding in any packed liturgies with large choirs, attending any ugly sweater parties, or jumping from house to house visiting friends and parishioners. For most of us, Christmas is going to be a little quieter, a little less exciting, even a little lonelier. Which, I'd like to point out, is sort of the way things should be this year. Seriously, we're in the midst of a pandemic, for God's sake. I know we all want to see our families and go to parties and pretend like everything's normal, but it's not, and so you traveling across the country to be with lots of people in close proximity is the very thing that will keep this pandemic going for us all and will undoubtedly result in many, many more people dying. Seriously, stay home. Now, what was I saying? Right, Christmas is going to be different this year. This year, there's going to be a deep longing in our hearts. A sense, unlike no other, that something is missing, that someone is missing. Without our families, without our yearly traditions, without the traveling and festivities and creature comforts taking up all of our time, we might find ourselves feeling a bit empty, lost, unsure and afraid. Maybe just more aware of the darkness and silence than ever before on Christmas. Really, I gotta say, it could be the most meaningful Christmas of your life. You see, every year, we Christians complain about the commercialism of the season, that it's lost its true purpose. We love getting and receiving gifts, sure. We love going from house to house visiting friends and relatives, one party after another. But something about it just always seems so frantic, so busy, so exhausting. Every year, I feel like I need a few days off after my vacation just to recover from my vacation. And that's great, don't get me wrong. I love the opportunities that I normally have to share in people's generosity, and I do think that Christmas should be celebrated with merrymaking. I just think it should also be celebrated with silence, overwhelmed with the mystery of the Incarnation. As much as the birth of Christ is something to be celebrated, remembering what God has already done, Christmas is also a time to embrace the holy longing of what God has yet to accomplish, what He has promised to fulfill in the world to come. It takes almost no effort at all to look around and see that the story is not finished. Our world suffers because of a yet incurable disease. Violence reigns in our streets and in our hearts. Members of our own human family are dehumanized, excluded, abused, and left to suffer. If we were not so busy with our own lives, if we allowed ourselves to really think about the suffering of those all around us, maybe even the suffering that exists in our very selves, many of us would not be able to bear it. Why is our world this way? How long will this last? The problem with Christmas, as nothing more than a celebration of the past, is that it fails to see the world as it is. It remembers a child born 2,000 years ago, a moment of peace on earth, a sign of hope for the future, and forgets that the mission of that child continues on, unfinished today. The Incarnation is but the beginning of our story of redemption, not its fulfillment. The reason for complete celebration has not yet come. What commercialism and parties and constant merrymaking have done to this holiday is strip it of the inherent discomfort that should come with it, the uneasiness of a world being turned upside down, the ongoing transformation of a world that remains yet incomplete. Christmas is about celebrating the gift of Jesus, yes, but it's also about sitting on hallowed ground, in silence, filled with dissatisfaction at the way things are, and overwhelmed with awe at the way things could be. It is a feast that begins with the past, but but must draw us more deeply into the present darkness towards the long-awaited light. The reason that I say that this could be the most meaningful Christmas of your life is because you now have the opportunity to be alone on Christmas. I know that doesn't sound like anything that anyone would want, but it truly is an opportunity. Unencumbered by festivities and gifts and constant merrymaking, left alone in the silence, stripped of all the creature comforts that pacify us and tell us that everything is fine, we have the opportunity this year to remember that we long for more than this. We have an opportunity to reconnect with our spiritual mothers and fathers of old who wandered in the desert waiting for deliverance, who felt truly alone in this world, unsure of what the future would bring. We have an opportunity to acknowledge the immense discomforts that plague our lives, loneliness, doubt, the fear of death and the unknown, things that are often all too easily suppressed by the busyness of this season. But not this year. Not when so many of us will be staying home for Christmas, foregoing big liturgies and parties and traditions. This year, there's nothing to fill our time. Nothing, it seems, to bring us the joy of the season. I say, lean into this. Have the courage to be alone for once during the Advent and Christmas seasons, to sit in the silence, to wait in the darkness. Let all of the disappointments of this year, COVID, protests, the election, canceled events, loneliness, loss of loved ones, boredom, frustration, your own inadequacy, your failures, the failures of others, the failures of humanity. Let it all wash over you. And then remember that a child was born in Bethlehem. Remember that God came to be like you, in the darkness, in the silence of the night, in a violent, disturbed world, so that you could become like God. He came to transform all that is ugly in this world, all that is disappointing, into new life. And then remember that that same God didn't just exist for a few short years in a country far away. He lives in you today. He looks at you every day through the eyes of the poor, offers you his body and blood every day on the altar, calls out to you in every moment of every day in the silence, in the darkness. Jesus is alive, and he is with you. This Christmas, you may not have the opportunity to go home, to visit loved ones, to do what you would normally do, and that is certainly sad. But I'll tell you this, you won't be alone. No, not on Christmas and not ever. The essence of this very holiday that we celebrate is that God is Emmanuel, the God who is with us, not just 2,000 years ago, but now. He is with you even in the darkness. He is with you especially in the darkness. This Christmas, all throughout the Advent season as you prepare, take the opportunity to embrace your Lord in the silence, in the darkness. Let the mystery of the Incarnation fill your mind, pierce your heart, transform your will. It may not be the Christmas you were hoping for, and it most certainly will not be the one you're used to, but it might very well be the one the world needs most right now.